Good day. Namaste, Sat Nam. I hope that you're having a really blessed day. Thank you for being here with us. Sort of at the last minute, I just had this inclination to sit with my two good friends and sisters here. They're both incredible people, bringing forth a lot of incredible energies and powerful Christ conscious messages to the world. And I particularly wanted to invite Annie Rios, as you can see here on the right, to co-channel with me. She, you may know her face and you may know her channelings from some of my Facebook groups and from her own work as well. That's starting to just kind of go viral out in the world right now. People are starting to know her as one of the prominent and new and upcoming Christ conscious channels. So she, in my opinion, she's right up there with Tina Louise Spalding and you know, right up with the best. So I just really wanted to give you a chance to get to know her in the ways that I have. And of course, you all know the beautiful Flavia, who's been working with me for quite some time as well. And we just all work very well together and connect very well. And we thought that we would share our knowledge of what Gaia is bringing through. Annie seems to be connecting a lot as normal with the Christ conscious beings today, particularly Isis and Yeshua. So with the questions, Flavia is going to be asking them. Annie and I are going to be pulling forth a conversation in a co-channeling manner between all the beings that are here today. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Don't make me cry in the beginning of it, Pamela, please. Let's try. Let's try to keep this cool.
Yeah, I'm so happy to know both of you. Life has changed in so many powerful ways since I've met you. And I remember the first time I saw one of your channelings, I was just scrolling through my Facebook and I went, oh my God, look at that. You are always sharing channelings, but when I saw yours, it packed such a powerful punch of truth and compassion and such divine activation codes. And I just stopped because someone had sent it to me and she was like, have you seen this person? And I get that all the time. Have you seen this channel or that channel? I'm like, oh, please, not again.
Here we go.
Yes, I'm sure it's very good. Give me a minute. But it stopped me like right in my tracks. And I'm like, like that. And then
it was very activating for me too when I first saw you channeling. So I think that awakened something in me, you know, it's like turning a key and it just happened.
We do that a lot for each other. So I'm happy to share this space with you today. And I'm loving that your channelings are just going around the world right now and people are getting a chance to really get to know what you have to bring. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you
very much.
Always for all of everything that you do for me.
Yeah.
I love you both.
Thank you.
We love you too.
And can you tell us where the patrons can find you if they want to work one-on-one, you know, with you, where they can find you? Annie?
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. We are also on Patreon as Lightworkers613. And you can find all of the information there. We work with Christ conscious beings, as Pamela said, and also Annie has one-on-one sessions. So
we have a huge discount now for patrons to work one-on-one with us. And we work a lot with the Divine Mothers as well. So they've been bringing a lot of great information on sacred sexuality, twin flames, and
Isis alchemy.
Yeah, which is very interesting, and everything from a standpoint of oneness and zero separation. So it's very enlightening. So it would be awesome to work with any of you if you feel aligned with.
Yeah. Some of you here are already following their work on Patreon, and I can definitely attest to the fact that they are amazing, and you will absolutely love it as much as I do, hands down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I guess we can start with your questions, Flavia, whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right. So the first question we have is for Gaia. If those of us who live on her Pacific West Coast should be concerned and consider relocating, or would it be best to stay and raise our vibration to hold the light?
I picked up my pen thinking I was going to automatically channel, and I had my hand to the paper like this, like I normally do, and I'm going to do automatic channeling. And she went,
Nope.
There we go. What are you running from? I am a living, breathing, loving, transmuting being. If you are being and not running, there is never a problem. Everything that has been sent through my essence is perpetually being transmuted for the highest and the best, never for the worst. I am not suffering. I am not in pain. You are. It is I at this point who is transmuting for you, and with the compassion of my entire essence, I continue to do so. Why are you running from your own compassion?
Thank you. What can we do to help Gaia during these times?
Once more, I implore you to seek and grasp the truth within the knowledge that I am about to impart. My dear ones, you seek me as if I am your victim, but I am not harmed. It is impossible, except that in your belief systems, you continue to cling to an untrue, vast set of belief systems, and you are asleep. This is not a matter of you helping me. It is you helping you. And more importantly, it is you helping each other. There are more fences around your yards. And even more than that, around your hearts. You close down your lands, my lands, our lands. You close down your waterways. You build territorial walls, boundaries, borders, and then you expect unity and peace. It is not I who needs the greatest divine help.
Wow.
Yeah. You reminded me of a vision that Lilith gave me once when someone asked something similar, and she showed me a horse and a flea in a horse. So Gaia is the horse. The flea cannot disturb Gaia, let's say. That's what she said. And what we should do is exactly that, is help each other raise this frequency and help each other become more aware of God within instead of trying to change Gaia. It's very beautiful.
Is Yeshua having anything to say to you about that as well? Because I'm having the feeling that he is. And
let me ask him. Yeah, he's showing me borders and showing me like the more we connect and the more we share and the more open we are to our true essence, true love within us and God within us, the more those barriers are being put down. And he's saying that this is what is really going to help us transcend this period that we are feeling right now. It is sharing with each other and creating this community and understanding everything as being part of you, as being you shown to yourself, is what he's saying. It's like you are seeing a mirror of you in your reality, and you can only change that reality by going within and deciding what is more loving for you first, instead of trying to seek it outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
More and more frequently, on beautiful sunny days, I'm noticing the clouds appear in a rainbow of colors against a beautiful blue sky. What is the significance of this?
Who is that question to? Which one of us?
Maria. Oh, who?
Yeah, is it
who?
for Gaia?
Oh, it doesn't say.
Here today.
Yeah.
I think whoever wants to answer it.
Yeah. What I'm getting from Gaia at this point is that rainbows represent reflection and the universal law of reflection, which is a deeper alchemy. And she's showing me a vision of the mythology stories of the flower, I believe is called Narcissus. And she says that everyone has considered since the time of these mythologies self-love to be selfish, hence the term narcissist, derived from the narcissus flower in this mythology. During the times when we were so in love with the vastness of nature, and when being divinely selfish was necessary and was the greatest path to God. What if the rainbows are there as a reflection of the divinity of the light within you? What if every layer of the rainbow represented the different ways that Gaia shines through you? Better yet, what if the only meaning is that there is love in everything, and that everything is that rainbow, everything is beautiful, everything is this reflective, everything is this shining, that nothing is dull because God is shining. That if you could see every reflection standing forth in front of you, every reflection in anyone, in any circumstance, as just as beautiful, then where will you be? You'll be with God. As God.
Yes, Yeshua also said, whatever you perceive already lives in you. So if you see that rainbow is in you, which is basically what you just said.
Isis seeks them out, you know.
Sorry?
Isis is a bit of a rainbow chaser. Sometimes when I'm channeling her, little rainbows show up all over the place. And it would be like, not just in the sky after a beautiful rain, when I'm sitting there looking out my balcony over the vast array. The St. George sky is beautiful. But it could be like, you know, in that side of town that you don't normally go to when you're, you know, pulling your car up and you're in the city and you're looking at an oil spot on the ground and the sunset's coming through a certain way. And you're like, that is the most beautiful oil spot I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then simultaneously in the background, you hear someone's car alarm going off and possibly a gunshot and possibly all these other things. I know you city folks know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm from St. George, it's heaven here. We don't see that in our heaven. But what if the goal of the universal law of reflection is to find your heaven, find your rainbow in every possible scenario? It's one of the things that she taught me.
Yes, very loving. I haven't realized that, but now that I think of it, it makes a lot of sense. She shows me rainbows inside of crystals all the time when I'm talking to her. Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. I'm getting a little emotional.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
trying to hold it together.
Riding that wave since the beginning.
From Alana, can you teach us how to bless the trees and the waters?
The trees are blessing you with the return of the oxygen throughout your very forms, and you bless them upon every exhale. But what is the frequency of your every exhale, and how conscious of you are you? How conscious of you are you aware of your exhale? Are you aware of your thought when you speak? Are you aware of every emotion that comes through every exhaled breath? When you become further aware of my elements, whether they be through the trees and the ancient ones, the elements of sky, and the birds therein when they are speaking to you to carry the messages of the sky, the awareness of the cleansing of the waters, the awareness of what memory water can hold for you. How are you utilizing the blessings that I am giving to you through my elements? I am not seeking your blessing, for I am not the one who requires it. Amidst belief systems, you then require faith and hope and blessings, because you are not aware of the natural, innocent, apparent nature of the miracle. When you are aware of the innocence of the natural miracles around you in the trees and the water, you will realize this truth. They do not require your blessing, and they are here to bless you. You cannot harm the elements of the God and the Goddess. This is impossible. You must forgive this nightmare that you have created, during which you believe that you have desecrated, raped, and pillaged our soils, that you have cut and murdered our trees, that you have polluted and taken advantage of our waters. You simply forget that you exist as these elements, and you have lost your connection to the simplicity of elements. And when you remember, you will naturally bless us by the song of innocence and the accessibility of grace in your thought and your emotions and your loving speech and the actions of kindness that you impart to the animals in these lands and to each other.
So loving, right? Isis was saying, those elements reside in you. You can access them, you can learn to work with them, but you are them at all times. It's just a matter of quieting the mind, going within, and allowing the breath of God to be in every conscious breath that you take, as your truth, as your beauty, as God expressing through you. You bless them as you bless yourself. She's burning my ears.
I was getting a similar image of what you were saying, because I saw the map of waters, like when you see the rivers and stuff, and the map of your veins.
Yes.
And it's all connected through water. And the time when you bless yourself, when you are the blessing, you're also blessing the earth. I was
very
seeing
beautiful.
that. Yeah.
It's like the trees are their lungs.
Yeah. My face is burning as well.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the eclipse season coming up, and how can we best work with those frequencies?
The upcoming eclipse season surrounds the imparting of the knowledge, the ancient sacred knowledge from the element of fire. And it is, for some, a gentle burning away of unnecessary habits, sufferings, addictions, greed and avarice, unnecessary longing for that which no longer serves individually and in the collective. Fire burns away everything that does not serve, and then causes for a passionate longing and creativity, a burning desire to seek God in yourselves, in others, in art, in music, in every possible way that you can connect with such passions, once again, with such fervency, with such love, with such truth, with such candor. For when you are longing, you are seeking. But when you are found, you are free. You are free now to create while you are on the precipice of divine liberation. And you are excited and afraid. You are nervous for what lies ahead. You are experiencing me within your form, the fire running through your veins, the excitement and nostalgia when seeing Soul Family for the first time, but knowing that there was never such first, and knowing that there will never be an end or a last. I see the invigoration in your eyes. You're as excited as children playing together in this mighty reunion on the playground. Do not be fearful of the activations that are currently and seemingly taking over your systems. It particularly affects the nervous system. You experience instantaneous tremors. And if you are not aware of what this feels like, you hold no reference point. The body would like to tell the mind to be afraid. But the breath is the author of liberation. Breathe through it. The pain is temporary. The reward is lasting. Do not be afraid of the intermittent changes in the form. The form is temporal. The spirit is eternal. I am with you always, for I am you. Invoke my essence to breathe through your lungs, as I do through the trees when I return oxygen back to you. It is symbiotic. I need your exhale and you need my inhale, like one lung needs the other. Just breathe. Your eyes are now open. You are upon the greatest precipice of the most profound awakening that is within all creative, expansive experiences. This should be fun, exciting. You are grad students awaiting the diploma that you've worked so hard to attain, and it is being held in my hands. Come get it. It's yours. Why are you afraid to get it? It is earned.
Thank you. I'm doing a very good job in not crying. What about you?
Does anyone want to add something?
It was about the eclipse, right?
Yes.
Isis raised her hands. Very sweet when she does that. I see her raising her hands like she's waiting, like, can I talk? Very beautiful. She says, we can use those energies of the eclipse to help us burn anything that no longer serves. Doing some alchemical processes, using our breath, as Gaia just said, and breathing in compassion for ourselves and anything that we feel like we need clearing off and that we need. Sometimes she doesn't use human words. Mm-hmm. That we need to purge is what she's saying. And that we can do that by writing down good affirmations and physically burning the paper, and we can use it like a breath, like visualizing a breath of fire through all of your body and just burning anything that no longer serves, any energy that you have attached to your physical body maybe that doesn't belong there anymore, it doesn't feel loving for you. So you can visualize that just being burned using this eclipse energy. That's what she's showing me. She's very practical. For me, she likes giving like tips and
instructions.
Very helpful.
I agree with that. The last time we had an eclipse here in Utah, that was pretty visible. I was on the top of a mountain in Park City. No, not Salt Lake City. Park City, excuse me. And there was a cold. Have you guys ever been out in an eclipse? It's freezing whenever it goes even into a partial eclipse. You just shiver. It was hot that whole day, and then suddenly it got cold, and you could hear the quiet in the forest and the trees, and not a single bird was chirping. And all the people around me, we were there in a group, they were quiet and enjoying the quiet, but me, no. I was weeping. I was like bawling loudly and back and forth. And I remember my friend Jen looked over at one of my friends, Russ, and she was like, "Is she gonna do something?" He's like, "This is what she does." If you were purging for a collective of 7 billion people, you'd probably be crying too.
Oh yeah. Crying is the least that could happen.
Yeah, so expect those things. I think that Isis is right, that those are things that you can expect those to be natural circumstances in purging. Yes,
she's saying that it's okay to cry. It's good. It helps you release it. So don't be ashamed to cry.
Yeah, she made me cry the last time I'm channeling her. That's why I left it to you.
Oh, yeah. Mostly I trans channel her, so I'm not here to cry. It's easier.
She kept me awake last time, and I cried through it.
No.
Oh, I'm not liking that right now.
No manners.
The next question is about plastic. Christina says, I perceive this life to be a dream, but I also see the harm that plastic has caused in this physical realm. What is the best way to proceed at this point in our evolution?
Forgive yourselves for the creation of such a nightmare. Is that a loving dream? You are aware that fearful dreams are not truthful dreams. Will you choose the fearful dream, the harmful dream, or will you forgive it and return to a loving dream? You're on the precipice of powerful scientific advancement within plastics. There is an organism that is currently being discovered and in your labs currently that can thrive off of plastic as if it is food. And always within the dream of Gaia, you hold one powerful dream, and for just as happy and peaceful of a dream, you will then create a bit of a sacrifice, another way to persecute yourself for holding such levels of happiness. When will that end? When must you have some payoff for every positive dream? I have a beautiful ocean, and now I must pollute it. I have plastics, therefore now I must create something to eat the plastic or hold the plastic. I have this organism. Well, will I forgive myself collectively at this point for having created the plastics? And then this organism can do its job. Or then will you create the birth of another terrible nightmare from the dream of the powerful healing plastic eating organism? Will it then provide a nasty virus for the collective? What will occur? When do your nightmares end?
You look at me like,
Yeah, like, are you gonna say something? I don't know.
Yeshua is talking, sorry. Yeah, he's basically, he showed me like he gave a microphone to Pamela. It's like she spoke, you know, and he also added, for how long will you perpetuate your suffering? When will you learn, remember that you deserve happiness? Every time you get a little bit of happiness, you find a way to believe again that you are not deserving of it. If that's what you are creating within the dream, that's how you are manifesting the nightmare. Choose to forgive yourself. Choose to love yourself. And that is how it's going to be manifested in your reality. And he's doing this, showing up, like from your heart and putting it out there. Believe your power to create. Remember your power to create. And trust God within you. And he just...
From Hayam. Is Gaia the furthest place away from Source? We can never be separated or away from Source, but within the dream, is this true?
In your dream, you have created this to be true. You know that in ultimate reality, there is no such dream as being separated from Source. But in these dreams, when you create time, you've created it to return to God, not to imagine yourselves further away. And knowing this truth, what then would it matter how close you are or how far you are if you are what you seek?
No, it's okay.
Please, Gaia, can you please help us understand the situation, water and all its bodies, how a human fractals may contribute more to the overall well-being, including reversal of toxicity, carrying too much load, plastic too?
Including reversing toxicity and what?
Carrying too much load?
Trash, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is maybe in the English is a little, let me look at the question too.
It's from Jenny Apatu.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I'm sorry.
Okay. The way I'm reading her question, how she wants to understand how all the different bodies of water contribute to the ecosystem, and how we, as human fractals of God, also contribute to the overall well-being to Gaia, and much in the way that water does. I think she's comparing those bodies of water to the water in our bodies, is how I'm reading her. So I'm sure she'll correct me if am I getting that right, Jenny? She's saying yes. Okay. This is a person who's so much in her oneness that sometimes her languaging is very, very simple. And I love it. Well, I taught this in class yesterday, and Gaia wants me to express it to you again. And also this came through in a channeling of Masaru Emoto last year, where he explained that there are over 450 packets of memory in every molecule of water. So how many molecules are even in a particle, and how many particles are in a glass of water? And then if your body is 60 to 72% water, how can that not be you? Basically, water is the deepest elemental truth to form, and the deepest way to cleanse, to protect, to ground, to enlighten. Water is your key to everything because it holds the most accumulated memory. So about your question, yes, the bodies of water are there because they represent the water within us. And I do find a connection to the polluted bodies of water, the big polluted oceans and reservoirs and things on Earth. I personally have found a connection between that and the way that the human conscious collective is polluting their own bodies right now and carrying too much, as you called it, too much load of energy. Maybe the waters are carrying too much plastics, in the oceans, but in our bodies, what kind of crap are we carrying with toxicity in foods, smoking, alcohol, addictive things? How are we blessing ourselves? I'm not concerned about chemical toxicity in water that we drink. What I'm more concerned about is the toxicity and the charge in the molecular memory of the water that we drink. If you take a cup right now and put that up underneath your tap and drink it right away, you are drinking poison. Because all of the molecular memory that's going through the pipes from the lead and the homes and the plastics in the, in the slime and the gunk, and it's not just that. Like, how many places has that water been cooped up in darkness, heated through your water heaters, et cetera, et cetera? So the water is basically desecrated by the time it gets to you. Stop. Put it out on your countertops for a while. Normally about this time of the summer, I start to make like herbal sun tea. Gaia really starts to direct me with water about this time, because this is when water, when it heats up, it can be the most dead at this time from the molecular standpoint. So what she's expressing to me, she's sharing with me the fact that I have 2 empty jars, or one is actually full of rice right now that my son stuck a Pokemon game in to try to dry it out because he put it in water. But anyway, I found that in my pantry, and I was going to use it for sun tea this week with some herbal tea. And she's like, oh, why is there a Pokemon in there? That's supposed to be So she was reminding me that I need to take the Pokemon out and take the rice and put the water out into the sun every day before I drink it, like out into the sun with some herbal teas, and bless it with herbs. You can We were talking about this in class yesterday, that in traditional Indian homes, they will perform a puja over their water, like every day before they touch it. You'll see little flowers in there. Gaia does definitely advocate for the Bach flower remedies and for you to bless your water with the elements of herbs and plant medicines, and the flower essences and things of that nature can bless your water. I like to bless it as well with vibhuti, because I'm traditional like that in that way, and many of my lifetimes in India. So I bless it with that. And a little bit of doTERRA oil. I like the Slim and Sassy blend. That's just me, right? It doesn't matter if your blessing is traditional or cultural or religious, or I sing over my water. Gaia likes it when you breathe over your water and you sing to it and you send love to it, as evidenced by Master Emoto's work. So she's giving many, many, many examples of how you can reverse the toxicity that's coming through the water. And you're blessing yourself when you do that. And the more you bless the water in your own bodies, the more that the bodies of water in Gaia, in and around Gaia, are going to be just as equally pure.
Beautiful. Please give us an update on Ascension shifts and the 3 days of darkness.
Can I just throw that back in your lap?
I was about to say, that's for you. This one is yours.
Yeah, I started, I guess I'll finish it.
Someone even asked me about this yesterday, but anyways, let's talk about this another time.
Yeah, all right. She said there's always another time for those type of dreams if you should choose it, but what if it's never a time at all? What if it was gone as quickly as the idea came? What if 3 days of darkness were 3 days of deep introspection within the void stillness of your hearts? What if you simply didn't wish to go outdoors during this time? You simply didn't wish to interact or connect at this time because you were listening to the stillness within the nothingness of what you perceived as darkness within your very hearts. For those of you in the dream of the fifth dimensional experience, it was about the transition between third and fourth and fourth and fifth, and the understanding that there is never one dark or light place where God will permanently be in a creative environment. Your predictions are endlessly shifting, for better, for worse, for stillness, and then expansion. And at this point in your collective, you have delayed the impending nature of much chaos and destruction. And you have delayed this currently until at least January of 2020. Congratulations.
Yeshua is adding. And for those of you who are not aligned with it anymore, it's best. You can put a rock over it and just move forward. If it doesn't align with you anymore, if it doesn't feel loving for you, that's me raising the hand as well. If it's not part of your reality, stop making it a part of your reality. Stop giving more energy to it. And just opt out. That's what he's saying.
I'm so happy that you've shared that, because it's something that someone asked me on YouTube today in one of my live sessions, kind of a, can we just opt out? I knew where she was going with it, but what she asked me at first was, would there be one, actually, this wasn't on YouTube, this was in a private session. I won't give your name, don't worry. She said, would there be one evidence thing that everyone sees? And I just looked at her and said, well, there is one thing that everyone cannot deny, and there's that one truth of love. And if everyone's seeing that, then you could see that.
Yeah.
But everyone even there to realize that we're on. How shall I explain this? The way that Gaia explains it to me is a seesaw, and it's forever moving, and it's been a drastic down and then a drastic up and then this and then that, and there's always so much back and forth about ascension. And right now we're like this.
Yeah, just like navigating.
Yeah. And we're as close to the middle as we can possibly and have ever been in a creative shifting. But going back to what my client said, will there be one thing that's completely evidenced by every single person? And I think that what she meant was, would perhaps the spaceship come down from the sky, or we all have like a big, we have a big disclosure of some kind. We all have, a massive volcano blows everything up and the whole world knows about it, and is affected by the whole world. Not really.
Yeah.
What's happening is more of smaller world disasters that affect one side of our lands over here, and then the other side may hear about it, but it may not affect them if they're in fifth dimensional experiencing, but they may be there to send love, send energies, serve, help, lift the frequency of those who are still coming out of those horrible nightmares that are horrible enough to cause massive forest fires, massive droughts. It's kind of the theme this year is the drought and the fire. And that was the way primarily that we experienced the 3 days of darkness this year, was through the element of fire and drought and lack. It represented a lack mentality overall. That's what she's saying. Next year, if we start that up again, hopefully.
Here we go again.
Here we go again. If we go through that nightmare again, it'll be with water. It'll be something to do with flooding at that point in time. And insofar as the way that we express it in some other time, who knows? But this is kind of what we're aligned to right now. And we can change it. We can opt out. I personally saw the dream and I went, oh, thank you for that. Opt out.
Yeah, thank you, but no thank you. That's me too. Yeah. Okay. And Yasha just said that I'll ask him to repeat because rephrasing him is not wise. You can keep choosing love until you understand that there is no choice at all in oneness. He just closed with that. It's like everything is one, so what do you have to choose from?
I really like that. Thank you.
Gaia, how can we better remember our connection to you and your elements?
Drink water, put your feet upon my soils, bask in the sun and feel its glory, feel it drenching your skin, feeding you, nourishing your eyes. Eat and drink and breathe through these elements that are there to perpetually remind you and connect you to you. Recognize that the bones in your body represent the grounded nature of my soils. The muscle and the sinew represent my trees and the woods, the powerful essence of the forest and the bush. Your lungs and your breath flowing through represent air and the vast nature of my winds as they blow through the power of grace in and out and amongst you. Understand that you are all that you seek, and all of the elements have accessibility from within. The external reminders of the elements upon Gaia are simply there to provide deeper accessibility within.
Okay. The next question is from Jenny. She's talking about the largest biodiversity hotspot in New Zealand, and As a result, she says, our craggy landscape is being poisoned as a quick response to knock back the pests. So the question is, what ways do you see we can implement celebration of creation without poisoning elements and elementals?
That was a lot for me to take in. I'm going to scroll down to her question and take a peek at it myself.
Okay.
There it is. Okay. As I'm reading your question, you state that we are the largest biodiversity hotspot for indigenous plants, insects, fish, birds, and animals due to introduced plants and animals. Within your very statement is separation. What if there could be no such thing as these fish, birds, animals, insects being separate from each other, as if there is a border that keeps them apart? For that is a creation of the world's nightmare. If you are introduced and one eats the other, one thwarts the other, one stamps out the other's existence, would that not naturally be a part of what would happen if there were no borders? If everyone were introduced to begin with and no separations occurred? It is you who separate the introduction of the species of insects, fish, birds, and animals. In the earliest times of your dream, there was a natural selection process that was pure and perfect. There was no overpopulation. The animals worked together. Then you began to dream that it may be cruel, but it is perfect. What if the result is different than your statement? What if the result is a return to the natural selection process, and that we do not perceive this as poison, as murder, as pests, as irritants? You must forgive the dream that you have created for the natural selection process to return.
Can you describe what is Inner Earth's collective role?
What if you could perceive no longer an inner or outer situation? What if, in your visions and your minds, you could dream with me for a moment that what you have perceived as hidden is now apparent? That all such visions are here amongst you now, that they are you. There are landscapes within landscapes, bubbles of dreams that you create, and then another bubble of a dream outside of that, and then another outside of that. She keeps going like this. When does it end? You were all the same anyway. And that is now apparent. And if you were to perceive a separation idea of an inner collective, do you believe that they need you? Or is it you who needs something from within your very hearts? And you created a dream externally to call for help from other people inside of me. There is no other. We are all inside and within and amongst. As above, so is below.
When will this organism that Gaia spoke of, that will eat plastic, begin?
Say again, please.
When will this organism that Gaia spoke of that we eat plastic begin?
Time is your dream, not mine. When you choose to forgive the destructive nature of the plastics and allow the healing nature of the organism to begin, the scientists will release the information and it shall begin. But will you trust this dream or create another nightmare therefrom?
It's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm. The last one?
Yeah.
What is Gaia's relationship to other planets?
I am them. They are me. I don't perceive them as separate. I honor the dreams that you have chosen to create within. And I am simply there to reflect each and every one of your dreams. But I have never perceived other systems as distinctly different. I cannot have a relationship with something unless it is other than, and I do not perceive other than.
Thank you. This was our last question. Is there any message Gaia or Isis Yeshua would like to share to the collective?
She's going to let me pick up my pen now.
Oh.
The way to heal the world is not by seeking to change me. It is not by seeking to change what you perceive to be outside, but again, by being the change that you wish to be inside of yourself. I and God are one. I and the animals are one. I and all humans are one. Only love in your dream is real, and love alone heals. My commitment is to awakening you to the reality of such love. I implore you to stop seeking upward into the skies for disclosure, for answers, for something to save you. Simply remember that forgiveness is the savior. Within each moment in which you choose such forgiveness, you have literally saved yourself thousands of years of suffering and of perceived suffering of me. And I mean that about as literally as I can mean that. Do you want another 1,000 years of pain? Isn't it time to forgive this dream? Love and innocence are the kingdom of Gaia, the kingdom of God, and the kingdom of God is within. Be excited. You are currently releasing fear and judgment. You are the creators of all that you think and see and experience. Nothing impinges upon me except the thoughts of pain that you have chosen to hold within yourself. Nothing limits me at any level or dimension of experience, save that which you have chosen in your nightmares. May the dream of forgiveness begin now.
She does have this soothing energy, right?
Yeah.
It's like So peaceful.
The last time I channeled her, it must have at least been 2 years, and I think I put you all asleep. So I'm happy I stayed awake this time.
So you can check that we are awake.
Yeah.
If you guys want
So-
to know more about Annie and Flavia and their team of light working on this earth and channelings and healings and so much beautiful wisdom that they've been bringing, you can find them on Patreon at Lightworkers613. And where else can we find you guys?
On Facebook, we have a Facebook group with the same name, Facebook page, Instagram. There's a website as well. Any social media that you check, you can find all the information there. Or you can just message us and we'll tell you where to go.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was a pleasure. So much fun. Thank you. Thank you all.
And now, and I will see you very soon. I think on Monday. I can't remember, but I know I'll see
Yes, Shiva and Kalimauma.
you. Oh, yeah, Shiva and Kali. That makes so much sense why Kali's been bugging me all day. Okay. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you. Love
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Did an hours.